I'm making my bourbon honey cake. It's kind of a classic Jewish holiday thing, but it's way too good to say for the holidays. And the first ingredient, of course, is bourbon. So I need 1/4 cup of bourbon, 1/2 cup of orange juice, and I need coffee, hot brewed coffee. So I can drink coffee and make this recipe at the same time. I need 1 cup. Okay, now I'm gonna start the batter. So first I need a cup of vegetable oil. I just want some kind of flavorless oil. Vegetable oil is fine. And then 1½ cups of sugar. Half a cup of light brown sugar. And then honey, 1 cup of honey, it's a lot. I guess it is called honey cake for a reason, right? If I put it in the measuring cup that had the oil in it, it'll come out really easily. Next is 3 extra large eggs. 2 teaspoons of grated orange zest. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I love this cake because it's really dramatic. So I'm gonna just mix this for about a minute on medium speed, just until they're incorporated. Next, I'm gonna add a dry mix. I've already put it together. Let me tell you what's in here. I added a tablespoon of baking powder to 3 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, along with a teaspoon of baking soda, 4 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, a teaspoon of kosher salt, 1/2 teaspoon each of ground cloves, ground allspice, ground ginger, and sifted it all together. And now I'm gonna add the dry ingredients and the wet ingredients in thirds, starting and ending with the dry ingredients. The thing is, if you add them all at once, you'll either have too dry or too wet a batter. It's a classic way to make a cake. And because the coffee keeps the bourbon and orange juice warm, it'll mix in. This is a very wet batter, so don't worry if it looks a little too liquidy. It'll come out perfect. So good. And then the wet ingredients. Now the thing about the bourbon in this cake is it's just a little bit, but there are so many layers of flavor in here, and the bourbon just adds a little warmth to it, which is really nice. Okay, and then the wet ingredients, and then the dry ones. This is one big cake. Okay. See how liquid it is, but it really comes out fabulously. So I bake it in a tube pan, but not one with a removable bottom. This is way too liquid. You don't want it spilling out all over your oven. If you made the batter, you want to keep it in the pan. So I greased and floured the pan, and I did parchment paper in the bottom, because my philosophy is there's no point in baking something if you can't get it out of the pan. Okay, that's it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tap the pan. Just want to make sure there are no air bubbles in the batter. Perfect. And the last thing is blanched sliced almonds, kind of traditional with honey cake. And I'm just going to sprinkle them on the top. Perfect. So this is going to bake for 350 degrees for 40 minutes, and it's going to be a moist, delicious cake. Time to unmold the bourbon honey cake. But first I need a little whipped cream. Every honey cake needs whipped cream with it, right? So it's just cream, vanilla, and sugar. Okay, so this is the cake. It's been cooling in the pan for 30 minutes. If you take it out too soon when it's really warm, it might fall apart, and you don't want that to happen. So I'm just running a knife around the outside. It's lined with parchment paper, so it'll come off the bottom. And then right inside, if I've done it right, it should come out easily. So I'm going to turn it upside down and then reverse it. So put a plate upside down on the cake. Oh, I heard it come out. I think we're good. Fantastic. Take off the paper. How good does that look? And then turn it right over. Careful, you don't want to break it. Ooh, it's so moist. It's fantastic. Okay, I'm going to cut a little slice. You can really smell all the spices. And I know I'm imagining I can smell the bourbon. A little plate. Look how lovely that is. That's why I see you want to make sure there are no holes in it. I need a little whipped cream. Do I have a tough job or what? This is Bourbon Honey Cake. It's my favorite. Sometimes I reach for the limoncello. It's an Italian lemon liqueur. I pour it over berries, serve them with Greek yogurt, mixed with lemon curd, honey, and vanilla. Just a sprig of mint, and dessert is served. For another great Italian shortcut dessert, I put scoops of passion fruit sorbet and vanilla ice cream in a bowl, and then pour over 2 ounces of chilled vodka. It's delicious. And you will love fresh peaches in Sauterne. I just put sliced peeled peaches into a bowl with 3 tablespoons of sugar, pour over a bottle of Sauterne, which is a sweet dessert wine, and a tablespoon of orange liqueur. Chill it for a couple of hours, then transfer it to a serving bowl, and voila, dessert is ready. Okay, I've got one more tipsy dessert to show you. And it tastes like a cocktail. Whenever I need a really easy but elegant dessert, a granita is a great option. Granita is actually a frozen mixture of water, sugar, and some kind of fruit juice. Sometimes coffee, but mostly fruit juice. And it's like Italian street food. But when you use really special ingredients like Campari, it can be a really elegant dessert. So what I'm making is a Campari and Orange Granita. It's kind of like an Italian cocktail, but made into dessert. Has to be freshly squeezed. And that should just do it. Perfect. So I've got 3 cups of orange juice, and I'm going to pour it into a porcelain dish. I've got sugar syrup, which is 1 cup of water, 1 cup of sugar, and just heat it until the sugar dissolves. So next I need a cup of Campari. Campari is like a bitter Italian aperitif, and I just adore it. Actually, one of my favorite drinks is Campari and soda with a splash of orange juice, which is basically what I'm doing here. I made it into a dessert. How good is that? Okay, now I just need a little bit of lemon juice. I like the citrus flavor with the Campari. Kind of cuts the sweetness of the sugar. I need a 1/4 cup. That's good. Perfect. Right in. Now I'm just going to give it a stir. So the next part of making a granita involves 2 things, a freezer and a fork. That's it. So first I'll freeze it for an hour, then take it out, and this is where the fork comes in. I'll use it to rake the mixture, particularly around the sides. Goes back into the freezer for another 30 minutes. Then I'll continue to rake it with a fork every 30 minutes for about 2 hours until it's firm and crystallized. How gorgeous is this? So I'm just going to get a fork and rake it. One final rake. Just like that.